A Savior has been born for you, who is Christ and Lord. They name him Wonder Counselor, Prince of Peace, Son of David, King of Kings. But this king is not born in a palace, nor is he dressed in fine clothing. This king is born in poverty, with no place to call his own, with nothing of this world to brag about. The best his parents can give him is a place in the stable among the beasts of burden for this prince who will carry our burdens. He has no crib but a manger, a food trough for this Lord of Lords who will make his body and blood food for believers. A Savior has been born for you, who is Christ and Lord. Not someone who will lord it over you, but someone who will offer himself for your salvation. Take a look at the humility of the nativity scene and remember that this is how God comes to us. The all-powerful God who gave us our existence, the Lord of all, came down from the perfection of heaven to be born this way among us. And remember that God comes to us out of love. He humbles himself to take on human flesh and humbles himself to be born in poverty and humbles himself to submit to the scandal of the cross out of love for us. The God of all creation allowed himself to become a little baby. The all-powerful Lord places himself in our hands out of love. He's born this night so that we can look on a human face, a child's face, and see the face of God. He's born just as we were born, and he walks through life just as we do, facing the difficulties of our humanity. And he shows us through his life what life was meant to be. He gives himself so that we can know what love means and come to join him in heaven. The prophet tells us the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of gloom, a light has shone. The light of Christ shines in the midst of darkness. He comes in the middle of the night to tell us that the darkness has no power over us if we walk by his light. This midnight mass is a way of saying we believe in the light of Christ, that even when things are darkest in our lives, we know that we can continue to trust in the love of God. The shepherds who were keeping the night watch over their flock, they were struck by the glory of God shining around them. Again, a sign of how the glory of God can drive away the darkness, can drive away the fear, and let us know that God is with us. This incarnation is God's way of revealing himself to us. The God we cannot see makes himself visible through this child. He shows us something of who he is, a God who doesn't stay in palaces on a throne, but walks among us, taking part in our humble lives. A God who doesn't limit himself to the perfect, but visits us in the darkest times. The God who doesn't come first to the rich and famous, but to the lowly shepherds in the field. A God who is content to sleep among the animals, to be a defenseless child, to be homeless, to be vulnerable. During this Christmas season, spend some time looking at that nativity scene. Meditate on that tiny figure who represents all eternity. Reflect on the love that brought Christ to us and calls us to him.